Meseches. For Meseches Bava Basra Daf Kuf Nun Amud Beis, I would restart from Amar of Nachman, the second line from the top of the page. Yeah, we have 5 people mentioned here, 5 types of cases. This shows Nishmas of Menachem and Akiva Rus Bas Shalom, and so Bas Moshe and Yehudis Bas Moshe David Zelig. And the baby was Nifter. Chaya Yehudis Bas Tzipora. Let's learn now. Amar of Nachman. Chamisha. There are 5 types of people. We're doing a little bit of review. Ad Shichtuvu Kol Nichseim. There are 5 people, 5 cases, I would say, 5 different cases where people give a matana, and only if they give everything away, then it takes effect. And if they leave something behind, then it's not effective anymore. Veiluhen, who are those 5 people or 5 cases? Shchiv Mera, which I'm sure you know about. Avdoi, the slave. Ishtoi, the wife. Everything will be anyway explained, so I'm not elaborating now. Ubanov, Umavrachas. Yeah, the 5th one is the mysterious one, Mavrachas, the one who tries to take away money, to hide money from someone. So let's repeat. Shchiv Mera, we know. Ditnan. Shchiv Mera, and by the way, you're right. Whoever said yesterday Yaakov Avinu is mentioned as a Shchiv Mera, if you do Shnai Mikra Vecho Targum, it says Yaakov is called in Aramaic. Yeah, this week's parsha gives at least 3 different Savois before his death, where he wants to be buried, Menashe and Ephraim, the brachos to the Shvatim. He was in a state of Shchiv Mera, and that's when he said his big finale. Shchiv Mera shekosav kol nechosov la'acherim. Shchiv Mera wrote off all his nechosim to other people, v'shir karka kolshu, but he left behind one karka, which we said may also be metaltalin. Yeah, and kolshu may be something substantial. If he left something behind as some little comfort zone, yeah, then we say, matnosoi kayemis. Even if he got up from bed and he survived and he miraculously lived, then we say the matana is still a matana. Why? You can't say you gave it to me only on condition, assuming you're going to die. No, because you left something to yourself, because you thought maybe you'll live, and that's why you left something to yourself. So all the rest stays in the hands of, or goes to the hands of the recipient. Now, and otherwise, it's the opposite. If he didn't leave anything behind, the Shchiv Mera gave everything to the other person, then the matana is really not a matana, because I did not give you everything. If I would have imagined that I would live, I'm not interested in staying penniless. The Chiddush is, even though I didn't mention it, we assume so, and the assumption is strong enough to change Allah. Avdoi. We are again reviewing the case of an Eved, the Tanan. We see a Mishnah in Peah, which we spoke about twice already. A curse of kol nechosov le'avdoi, a person who writes all his nechosim to his Eved. Yeah, he says, before I die, I want to give everything to my slave, to my Eved Knaini. Yotzo ben choirin. He's a ben choirin. Why? Because if he says that the Eved owns, that is like to saying that the coffee is tea. It's a steer minei obey. How can an Eved own something? But if he's serious and he wants him to own, that means he's not an Eved. So that's like an interesting way of saying that the Eved should go free. And the Eved becomes free and he gets all the money. Wow. Yeah, that's like in the stories. But shir karka kolshu. If the Adon, however, left behind a piece of land, lo yotzo ben choirin, the Eved is not a ben choirin. We said a few reasons. We said either because the Eved himself is the karka. I'm leaving behind a piece of karka, an anonymous piece, not a specific piece, yeah? Then maybe the Eved is a karka, because we possibly call our avodim kalkois. We go very halachic, and an Eved may be called in everyday language karka. Maybe yes, maybe no. It's a question, but it's possible. Or we said, no, the reason why, if he left something behind, the Eved is not considered to be free, is because it's not get krisus, just like a wife who's divorced and still bound to her husband by condition of his get. She's not fully divorced, which means she's not divorced, not fully, she's not divorced. Yeah, Mimela, so to the Eved is an aspect of get. And since the shichur was done through giving money, and some of the money stays in the hands of the original owner, the Eved is not free because him and the owner are still connected through the money that's supposed to be the releasing force. Minei ubei, there's a hagbala, there is a limitation in the way you release him, so he's not released. A woman cannot be a little bit divorced. She can be suffix divorced. Yes, that can be. We don't know if she's divorced or not. That happens many, many, many times. But she cannot be a little bit pregnant or a little bit divorced. Some things you can't be a little bit, yeah? You can't be a little bit divorced. You can't be a little bit meshucher as an eved. Either are you or not. That's krisus, yeah, sever. Mimela, that's one already a good reason to say that an eved is, now we say the second case, there where it's all or nothing. Oh. Now, third case, ishtoi, the vibe, damar vidamar shmuel, which case regarding his wife, a case of kol nechosav leishtoi, lo asa el apotroipo, which means if somebody wrote all his nechosim, all his assets to his wife, every nook and cranny, every little thing. I'm stopping and I'm giving cover to Shloime. Chetzi Eved Chetzi Ben Choirin. Okay, I stand corrected, Chetzi. And I mentioned it yesterday. There's a case here in Bava Basra Yud Gimel. It appears in Chagiga, Beis Amud Aleph. It appears in Gittin. An Eved that was, the only way you can have an Eved, which is Chetzi Eved Chetzi Ben Choirin, is an Eved was acquired by two people. One of them freed him completely with a get. The other one didn't. So then he remains in a matzav of Chetzi Eved Chetzi Ben Choirin, and he Maker Adin should work, each day, one day by one day by the other, but because of Piri Verivia, we'll let him go. I hear, very nice. But from one Adon, you can't be a little bit meshucher. Okay, very nice. Let's continue. A person who wrote off the nechosim to his wife, each and every asset that he has, every dime, he says, everything goes only to my wife. The guy has one child, 6 children, I don't know, he has children, and he's giving them zero and her everything. You could say, whatever, interesting family dynamics, I can imagine the kind of family dynamics that maybe hates the kids and loves her, that could be, but we assume that's not the kavanah of the person, unless known otherwise, and unless you can prove otherwise, the halachic default is what? Then we say, lo sa el apatoipo, she's only the custodian, she's only the person in charge, she's only the executor of the Yerusha, and he did not mean to actually give her everything, because it's not likely a person will give everything to his wife and zero to his children, even if it's halachically possible. But we say no, because that's not the assumption. He just means to make it apotropis. Why would he make her apotropis? Because unfortunately, many times children, I don't like to say abuse, but many times children don't give cover to the mother after the ptir because of money issues. That happens, even befrom people. So Mimela, he wants them to give her covered after his niftar, and Mimela, he wants them to know already now, mommy is in charge, better be nice to mommy. She gives out the candies, and that's the idea. So that's case number 3 out of 5. Yes, Bonov, fourth case of all or nothing. Bonov, I already know what's going to be the Shir's title today online. Bonov, the Tanan, a koisev kol nechosav lebonov. This case we have to elaborate on. We will elaborate. Before we continue to the fourth case, I want to say I really enjoyed the give and take between Jeffrey and Tzvi yesterday. We're going to talk more about it today. Now we're going to focus more on case number 4. It's a little bit more complicated, but it's not so bad. A koisev kol nechosav lebonov. A person sat down, and he now has, let's say, 4 children and his wife. He sits down and he says, all my nechosim I'm writing to my children. In other words, regardless of the Yerusha, I'm not leaving anything to the, what I call natural Yerusha. I'm giving the way I want, maybe changing the Pishnaim, if it's possible, giving the daughter and not the son. He's playing around now, And instead of just dying and letting it happen, he's now deciding who's going to get what. Okay? Now
he's giving a matana now.
You can call it as a matana. It's better to say like a matana. Nachon. Especially if you talk lefi nachon. If there's a daughter, it has to be matana. She doesn't get Yerusha with them. Except for Bechana and Baraka, lefihim, you play around with Yerusha within the boys. But let's say it's a matana. Okay, I'm stopping myself and I'm answering you. Labanov, if it's only boys and he's just playing around, then it's boys, and you can't do it b'Yerusha, not b'matana, according to Bechana and Baraka. Right? He says you can play around with the Yerusha and it's still called Yerusha. You can channel it and manipulate it the way you want, as long as...
Called Yerusha
yes.
Before the Ptira? No.
He says, once I die, they don't get it yet. He's saying, once I close my eyes and return my soul to its creator, instead of you getting shove b'shove, I like Shloimele better because he's such a nice boy and I'm giving him more than the others. And that will take effect as a Yerusha, 100%. That's the whole vote of Berachan Ben Broiko. As opposed to Chachamim who say you cannot do that. According to Chachamim, it will be a matana. And according to everyone, if you have a boy and a girl, or you have a girl's and uncle, somebody from the next level, then for sure it's matana. Only for the people of the same level of Yerusha, and only according to Rabbi Akiva, you can play with Yerusha. But that's halacha. Halacha begadol is like him, generally. So now, he writes all the nechosim, to make it simpler, it's a matana. Even there's a girl, he writes different people, the nechosim, different children. Because of, now, 1 second, let's stop now. What would be, let's stop right here. We're now going to enter the world of ksuba. So now, if he wrote everything to the children, and he doesn't mention his wife at all, she sits there sipping coffee, and she's, looking at the iPhone, whatever, she's just doing her own thing. Will she get her ksuba? Of course. She'll get her ksuba from who? From them. Yeah, if you sold all your karkois, your wife knocks on the door of the buyer and claims her ksuba. So case number one, which we don't yet mention, there are 3 cases. Case number one, if you'd given everything to the children by changing around things in the Yerusha, but at the end of the day, they receive everything. She gets her ksuba. Let's say her ksuba is 200. She was a psula when she got married. She gets from them. That's not even our case. That's no questions now. I'm building up something, okay? So she knocked on the door. Like any lakuach metana, finished. Now, however, in this case, we have a different case. Because of leishta kaka kolshu, he, together with them, he said, hey, Prince Abela, my beloved wife, you're also part of the team. Ken, welcome aboard. You get a karka kol shehu. In other words, just like I'm giving them matanos after Misa or like Yerusha within them, you also get a piece of land. It's not called Yerusha for sure. Wife is not Yerusha's husband, that's matano. You get a karka. You get a karka, which is less than what you're supposed to get from your ksuba. And she knows, listen carefully, that she has no other source to take her ksuba from. There's no other land that remained free. In other words, let's say he has 5 karkois, 4 karkois went to the children, the 5th karka went to her. There is 0 free karka, which is natural Yerusha. There's only karkois of the children, and there's 1 karka that she got, and now we say the famous line, Ibda ksuboso. Why did she lose her ksuba? She cannot knock on the door and say, hey, what daddy gave me was only 150. I deserve 200. She comes with her toinet rabanit, I deserve. I got 150 and really I deserve 200. So I want the extra 50 from you people. We say, no, excuse me, mommy, with all the respect, you don't deserve it. Why? Because we say, because he made her get more bekovedik, the Yerusha, together with the boys, aso ke yoreshes. He made her yoreshes from a stable karka, and excuse the pun, she doesn't have to get from the Yoshim to beg for a ksuba and get the monthly stipend and all these stories. She became a proper yoreshes, which is a higher standard. A, B, and I forgot to mention it yesterday, I apologize. B, she also knows she has no other makom to get her ksuba from. Of course, there's no other nechosim bnei choirin. There are no other nechosim that remain naturally in the family, because everything was given away. Let's say they're not the children, to make it simpler for you. Let's say these are the Shivas Panavish and the donkey's place, Lahavdil, In other words, let's say there's no other place for her to take her ksuba from, plus she got what? A small but mechubed piece of land, then we say she gave up her ksuba. We assume as long as she did not protest, we put 2 and 2 together. Do you have another makom chofshi, ben chorin, and neches still owned by the husband to take her ksuba? No. B, did you get something which is, kolshu, but something to live off, something, a smaller piece, but mechubed, that shows that you are yoreshes? Yes. We put 2 and 2 together, and we say she's maskim to completely change her status from a ksuba recipient into a what? Into a yoreshes, even if it means less money. A lot of people will tell you, I prefer getting, let's say, 100 pounds in a nice envelope, rather than somebody throwing it to me 200 pounds and say, you take it like a dog from the street. Some people would say no, some people would say yes, but we can hear some people would agree to less money, but more covet and dignity. Now, having said that, what would be in the third case? What would be in the third case when, it's not really a third case, I mentioned B'derech Hagav, let's say he gave one field to Shloimi, one to Moshe, one to Racheli, one to Shprinzi, and he gave the land to his wife, but he left some karka untouched on purpose. What about the 6 piece of land? Not mentioned. Naturally, where would she then take her ksuba from? From the 6 piece of land. A woman only knocks in the door of the mekablim, of the lakuchos, of the other people. Obviously, for husband or the natural Yerusha has no resources, right? If you owe me money, chasrom, I take the money from you. I'm not going to go to your lakuach, right? To the buyer bought from you. Obviously not. You don't take from Meshubodim when you have bnei choirin. So now we say like this. We say if the woman knows that there's a piece of land that stayed free, then even though she got her piece of land, we still say, no. She's opting for the ksuba because she says, hey, there is a free piece of land and that's where I'm supposed to take my ksuba from. So even if that piece of land is less than 200, it's only 100, she says, no, just like that 100 is something which I am having my eyes on to get my ksuba because that's a natural source of receiving the ksuba. So too, I will also take the other 150 from the Yoshim. Let me repeat the 3 cases. Again, let's repeat from the beginning. I can see that we need repetition here. Excuse me, I'm just helping. It's fine. 1 second, please. Excuse me for half a second. No, I do have a phone, even have a charger. This phone is going crazy with the battery being low. I'll tell him that, yeah. Weiter. Thank you. Weiter. Okay, let's review. Let's go to the very, very basic of ksuba. A person dies. His wife deserves a ksuba. If he has free land means not given to anybody, not sold to anybody, not mechuyev to anybody. She takes it from the land, pashut. Right? Of course, now the end is generally owned by the whole family. That's simple. Nachon? Good. Now, what happens if before his death, at some point, he came and he said, listen, kinderlach, I'm giving each and every one of you, and I'm even giving other people. I'm giving out my land to all kinds of people. As a matana, nagin, nachon, and also I'm giving my beloved wife, I'm also giving her a piece of land, and I'm leaving nothing. Nothing stays with me, with the natural Yerusha, with Tfusas Abayis. Then we say, she says, hey, I always learned in SEM that the free piece of land should be given to the ksuba. He's not giving me a ksuba? But he's giving me a piece of land. He gave his wife a piece of land smaller than the ksuba. Okay, I'm realizing 2 things. Sinas Haman and Ahavas Mordechai. I have no place to take my ksuba from, right? And I did get, instead, a smaller piece of land, but I'm called the Yoreshes, and I don't have to beg from them, from all these children, gave me a hard time. So then we assume, unless not otherwise, if she kept quiet, we assume she's masking to that agreement. Good. However, if a piece of land did stay what we call free, ben choirin, when I say ben choirin, I don't mean Pesach, yeah? There's a land that remained untouched. He didn't move it to anyone else's possession. Then we say, she says, no. If that land stayed for free, even though I got a piece of land, I'm not giving up. No. I'm still interested in getting a ksuba who says I'm moichel. Who says Amechel? She didn't say Moichel. She kept quiet. We don't interpret her silence as Mechila. We say no. We say that. We don't interpret it. Excuse me. We don't interpret it as Mechila. We say what? We say okay. She's interested in the ksuba. There is a land to take the ksuba from, and even if that piece of land is smaller, is less valuable than a ksuba, she says no. The rest I want to take from you people. Because I had something left from Ksuba, instead of 200, there's 100 that stayed free. I'll take the 100 from there and the other 100 from you people, okay? And her land, she's probably not interested in, or maybe the land she will get, but she still wants more. Lo mishana, that's a different story. Okay, so now let's read this again. Bonov, Ditnan. Yeah, we're in the middle of Kuf Nun Amud Beis in Bava Basra, Ditnan. Not the very middle, the line starts with Ditnan. Somebody wrote all his assets to his children. He wrote his wife even 1 dekel, it says. 1 dekel is a substantial thing. He left her 1 palm tree. 1 piece of land, ibda ksuboso. She lost the ksuba. As I just elaborated on and explained extensively. Thank you very much. Okay. That's the fourth case, which we will go back to as I promised. Now comes the fifth case. That's the coolest case of them all, Mavrachas. Up until now, all these four cases were already met in the recent past. But now Mavrachas is all new case from Ksubas. The Omar Mar. What's a Mavrachas? Mavrachas will tell you the following story that's very common today too. A couple's getting married and it's a second marriage. I learned in the Torah Rabboni course that today, when there are second marriages, it's usually a very, very, very big balagan, big story to figure out the finances. Why? Because he already has more money and she has money. They have children. He wants his children to get. She wants her children to get. She has her career. Sometimes he has his career. So second marriages, it's not some yeshiva bocher that has no idea about money and a Sam girl who has a lot of idea about money or not to spend it. Yeah, that's what she knows about money, and he knows nothing about money. So when they get married, who cares? They don't even know what the ksuba is all about. Yeah, LMI, when it's second marriage, there's a lot of stories there. So now, actually, the Gemara says the same. What happens if a lady has second marriage? Now, she's already balas nechosim. She owns lands. We'll see later on, women used to own a lot of things. She doesn't want her husband to get any of her money. She doesn't want her husband to get her karkois or her metaltalin, as we'll see. Make her a din, when a woman gets married, she has to write off everything to her husband. Automatically, everything goes to her husband, not completely his, nichse milug, nichse tzon barzel, it's partially hers, partially his, but if she wants to be married to that new guy, second chance in life, but she doesn't want him to have anything to do with the karkois. What does she want to do? Mavrachat, lehavriach, to smuggle. She wants to hide it from him. So what does she do? She writes a star to a good friend. Take a good friend, will tell the wife, and it's actually a legal loophole. It's a kombina. And we say, I told you that's Hebrew class now, kombina. We tell her it's kombina that's encouraged by Chazal. You can write, lady, you can go to your daughter, as is the case in Ksuvas, and write all your nechosim to the daughter, all the nechosim that you have right before the wedding, write it to the daughter. And we should say afterwards, I didn't really mean my daughter to have it all. I'm writing it off to my daughter, that if my husband goes through my papers, you'll see that all these nechosim belong to my daughter. But really, I don't really want it to be my daughter's or my best friend's or my attorney or my thingy or my escrow. No, if in case he dies before me, in case we get divorced, of course I want it back. It's just sort of on hold and a standby by them. And that's called shtar pasim. Pasim is pius, just a nicely worded shtar that doesn't have much meaning. No, does that actually work? There was a case in Ksubas, don't remember which daf, and if you ever thought you heard of courtroom dramas, wait till this one. The Gemara describes a case in which a mother and daughter stood against each other in Beis Din, and the daughter said, I deserve the money. The mother said, no, you don't deserve the money. And then the Amayra tore the shtar. He actually took the shtar and he tore it apart. What was the story? Our story. The mother had second marriage. The mother wanted the new husband to have zero to do with her nechosim. She wants to add it instead of a Swiss bank account. She wrote her daughter, all my nechosim are my daughters. And then she got divorced or he died. And then she went back to the daughter and said, hey, daughter, give me back the shtar. The daughter said, no, it's all mine. The daughter said, it's mine. Look, I have a shtar. Yeah. So, but she admitted it was a shtar mavrachas, but she said, so what? Who cares about your motives? Lamais, it says it's mine. So the Amor Torah shtar. Yeah, why? Because he says that shtar mavrachas is not really a shtar. We know that the kavan of the woman, nobody with the right mind would give everything to a daughter. It's similar to shchiv mira. She knows that if she's not married anymore, she'll again fall back into her own money. She'll need her own money. She won't get anything from the husband. Maybe a ksuba, something small, but she wants all the nechosim. She wrote all the nechosim to the daughter. It doesn't mean that. So it doesn't belong to the daughter. That's why he tore it. The chiddush is that even though daughter, maybe the mother wants the daughter's welfare, the Gemara says the person wants him, cares about himself more than about the kids. A person doesn't want to stay penniless and give everything to the children, unless it's a poilu shemame, but most people don't. That's the name of the game. In the Gemara over there in Ksubas, it says sometimes Mavrachas works, sometimes doesn't work. The difference is if the Mavrachas wrote all or nechosim to the good friend, to the daughter, to the lawyer, to the thing, then we say, come on. We really thought, we say to the recipient, don't stand now there and say, hey, it says it belongs to me. No, come on. You didn't really think that a woman about to get married to a second husband, all of a sudden is going to give all or nechosim to you? Mapitom. People don't tend to give everything for no reason, especially we know there's a context of second marriage, right? With financial issues. Nachon? That's what we say, what? Kol nechasia? No, that was my kavanah, says the mother. But if she gave 90%, to somebody else, and some she left for herself, then we say it's a matana. Just like with the shchima, very similar idea. Because we say, hey, mommy, excuse me, you didn't give me everything. You left a nice little portion to yourself to fall back onto if you get divorced again. So the rest is mine. That's a legal star with the edim and everything. That's same idea.
But how would it work if she gives?
So we ask the question, first of all, if she leaves for herself a small amount of money, it goes to the husband, not to herself. My answer is no. After he dies or after the divorce, that money, of course, will go back to her. Money that she brings into the marriage goes back to her. Barzel, Milug, whatever the name is, different conditions will go back to her. So the daughter can tell her, the one who has the star in his hand, the star Mevrachas, Pasim can say, no, your husband died now, your husband got divorced, I feel so bad. But Lamaisa, you have the 20% to lean on because you got it back after his death or after the divorce. Nachon? Mimela what? Mimela, the 80% are mine. Again, otherwise, Enlo Dover Soif. You also mentioned Ksuba. Ksuba is not enough to live on for life. We still said that even if a woman gets one of Ksuba, she's still interested in her original money that she had. Yeah, bidu. Weiter. Ubekulu. Now we make a general statement regarding all 5 cases. We have 5 cases of all or nothing, and now is a good chance to repeat them, the review. Bekulu metalteli havishiu. In all those 5 cases, except for one case, karka is lav dafka. Karka is not only karka, metalteli are the same. Lebar miksuba. I should not continue. I promised you a revision. Let's go and revise everything. By shchiv mera, as opposed to the Mishnah said, if a shchiv left himself metaltelin, a shchiv mera gave everything, meaning all the karkos he gave to Zalman Yankel, and what? But he left himself the metaltelin. He left himself a nice room full of, shoes and socks and ties or things he can sell or whatever, a lot of food he left for himself. Then we say it's a valid matono. Even though metaltelin are less reliable than karka, but if he left himself metaltelin to lean on to fall back onto in case he stays alive, then we say the matono of all the karkos he gave is a matono because he left himself metaltelin. It's a chiddush, but that's what we at the end of the day said. What about an eved? We said an eved, if you gave everything, I'm giving everything to Yakintus, my eved, to Tavi, my eved, except for some metaltelin, doesn't go free. Why? Either because an eved can be called metaltelin, because he walks around, Belabatishli is metaltelin, or because no krisus. Very nice. What about the case of Emavrachas? Emavrachas, a woman in her second marriage, she wrote everything she writes a shtar before a wedding. She likes the new guy. Yeah, she's 60 years old and he's 65. What a nice man to go and whatever, plan the rest of my life. I'm not interested in getting my money. No. Ad kesef, if you understand what that means. Ad kesef, she likes him very much and she wants her money to be in someone else's hands. Not really, theoretically, yeah, as if the money is owned by other people. So she says, but she writes, I'm giving my daughter, Chana Breina, all my karkois, but I'm leaving myself a room full of, shoes and socks and perfumes. So then we say, and then he dies, and then she goes back to the daughter and says, it was just a joke, it was just a mavrachas, just tarpasim. The daughter can say, no, mommy, you left yourself a room full of stuff. You left yourself metaltelin. If you left metaltelin to yourself to lean back onto, that means the rest of the matano is real matano. You did not remain penniless. You have metaltelin that are left behind. Excuse me. Good. The same thing also, the 4th case, which is really the 3rd, is what is the case if he wrote everything to his wife except for metaltelin. He says, mommy owns everything, you guys own nothing, because you better respect her. Then we say what? But if he left metaltelin, that are his children's, and he gave her karka, then we say, no, she's the owner. She's not just a custodian. She's really an owner because he still left metaltalin to the kids. The vort is a person wouldn't leave his children penniless and give everything to his wife. But if he left the metaltalin is worth a lot of money. You can have a whole supermarket full of stuff. So Mimela would say, the only exception to the rule where we say metaltalin and karka are not the same, and now we're entering our discussion, you nice people here. Lebar, what's lebar? Except for miksuba. What does that mean? You remember the case, the most complicated cases of all five, in my opinion, is the case where it says what? You lady, my dear wife, you get the karka as a yoreshes, I give you the kavod of the yoreshes, and you have zero, you have nothing else to get your ksuba from, yeah? You did not leave any ground uncovered, yeah? Everything goes to him, and you also get one. Where is bnei choirin? Where's the natural, regular karka that's left behind in the family's assets? There isn't. Then she gets the hint, and she says, okay, there's nowhere else to take miksuba from except for the matono that I got as a proper yoreshes or mikabeles. Then I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that covered, and I get that, even though it's less money. What did we say? What about if you left some metaltalin? Let's say he gave all the grounds to them. Yankel gets a piece of land, and Sprinter gets a piece of land, and Ponovich gets a piece of land, and this gets a piece of land, and the wife gets a piece of land. But there's metaltalin left in the house. Metaltalin. When owned metaltalin, he owned I don't know, whatever you want to call it, chairs and tables, yeah. And what did he do? He left it behind. Would a woman take from metaltalin? You were discussing it a little bit. The answer is, well, obviously, if a woman has a husband died or divorced and she deserves ksuba, and then we say she deserves ksuba, the first thing she goes for are the karka, not metaltalin. Karka is a natural thing of Yerusha. Like most Balichov, they have the right to take from a karka. A karka is more reliable. And when they stood under the chuppah with stars in their eyes 25 years ago, then her idea, the idea in the ksuba was karka. So karka is a natural thing. However, if there's no karka and there's metaltalin b'nei choirin, there's metaltalin that stayed in the family asset, you guys were right. Then she takes from a metaltalin. However, metaltalin are not the first thing that a ksuba is connected to. Metaltalin are not the natural plan A of ksuba, but metaltalin are not. And karka is. And like you guys said correctly, very nicely, I was very proud of you. If a guy sold his karka, the woman takes it back from the buyers. If he sold metaltalin, no. Metaltalin not mishtabed forever. Metaltalin, they don't have coal, they don't have this, no. Then she should get it from I don't know where, but not from, 1 second please, yeah? So now, the Baal Miksuba, I'll be with you in a second, the Amikarkei Takino Rabbonon. On Karka Rabbonon made it takono. If she has karka left behind free, that's untouched, that he did not give neither the children nor to her, there's a karka that stayed, I call it natural, in Yerusha Sabais, Tfusa Sabais, then we say, she automatically connects correctly, karka, I know ksuba is karka. I'm not giving up. I'm not a frayerit. I'm not giving 100 zuz just because of COVID. Hey, there's free land. Free land that stayed in the family asset without being given over to anybody, that's mine. I'm not giving, and I'll take all my ksuba, even more, until I get my entire ksuba. Metaltali, no. If the only thing that's left behind untouched in the family assets are metaltalin, we say no. She can say, no, there's a limit. When we said yesterday the line, I prefer having one bird in the hand than two in the bush, but having one plastic bird, having one thing that's less than the bird, I don't get, no. Ksuba does not relate to metaltalin. She would only get it as plan B or C, but that's not the main thing. So if all left behind is metaltalin, we say no. She, in her mentality, and she's right, she's not giving up on her ksuba because of saying, she's not saying, I'm getting my metaltalin, that's my ksuba. No. We assume the metaltalin are zero for ksuba, and mimele, if everything that's left free is metaltalin, and she got a piece of land, then we say yes. She got a piece of land, even though it's less than the original sum of the ksuba, she's happy with a piece of land, and she's not ogling, she's not leering towards those metaltalin for her ksuba, because metaltalin are not the first option of ksuba, or like any other Baal Choiv for the matter. I have to record this, obviously. All these are just default ideas where we assume how a woman thinks, And obviously, if she gets up, and the Gemara says it before us a few dapim ago, if Enechnami, she gets up and she says, no, Hershel, I'm not happy with this agreement. If she says, no, I mean, thank you for giving me the land, but I just want everybody to know I'm not giving up my ksuba. A smart woman. She says, let's say it's a good agreement, yeah? Nothing was left behind, yeah? And she gets a coveted piece of land, a little bit less, and she says, no, listen, guys, it's all very nice. Thank you so much, Tati, amazing husband, but I'm not giving up my ksuba. I'm not going. Then she gets her ksuba, no question. If she stayed quiet, then we're trying to read her mind. Let's be mentalist, mind readers. Then we say, if she has nothing else staying behind for her to collect from, except for the piece of land that she's getting as a matana, as a choshuv eres, then we say, good. Mistame, she's happy with that. Mistame, if she says otherwise, she has every right to demand her ksuba. Women have a lot of rights of ksuba. Mashe'enken, if all is left now. If, and I'm continuing, it's actually not an exception, if she was given a piece of land and everybody else got pieces of land and there's metaltalin. Metaltalin, she knows he has a room full of stuff, expensive. Then we do not say she's assuming she'll collect it from the metaltalin. We don't say that. Metaltalin ksuba are not a good shidduch. She can take it, but the evidence is second or third option. It's not the first thing that runs into her mind. Yeah? Mimele, if she gets a piece of land as a matano and the metaltalin left behind, we say you're moichel mistame, and you're not going to get from metaltalin, you'll get a piece of land even though it's less than the ksuba's value. One more, and then you. Yeah. Everything is quiet. Yeah. If she says otherwise, she can say whatever she wants.
Take 150.
Oh, now we're going to. Yes. Oh, yeah. Let's continue. Now, however, Amema says the following. Amema says there is an exception to the rule. Metaltali deksivi beksuba. Let's say some metaltalin were written in the ksuba. When they got married 25 years ago, instead of just writing this whole long Aramaic piece, which many people don't understand, he actually stated there, I will pay you the ksuba from very specific metaltalin that are recognizable, mark my words, from those Giovanni ties and from those Chanel perfumes that are in that box with those serialized numbers. What? The Ming Dynasty vase, I thought you said mink coat, The kitzer, from those specific things, that will be your source of ksuba. Ve'itnehu beinayu, and lo and behold, they stayed all the life, and now when he's about to die, and after he died, those very same things are still there. That's different. If she has metaltalin that are extremely specific, and they stayed there, and she knows, and everybody knows, these metaltalin are designated for a ksuba, then havishiu, which means if he did the same shtick, he gave everyone a piece of land, he gave the wife a piece of land, but what about all the metaltalin that are designated for ksuba and stay the same place, same thing all the time? Then of course her mind is on those things, right? Avada. Why? Because that's what she's meant to take from. There's also a concept here which I did not share with you yet, and that is Shavua. There's a whole story about Shavua. That's to do with our sugya. If a woman wants to collect her ksuba, well, she does usually, and then she should really take Shavua. She should only take it under oath, and she should be nishba to the Yesoimim. What she should be nishba, which is not so pleasant. It's a mother, and she has to make a Shavua to the Matatan that what? That she was not poigemis ksubosa. Which means many times a woman could be poigem the ksuba. Poigem, kos pogum, like in Kiddush, in stuff in Avdallah. Pogum means taken away, that was reduced a bit. Let's say a wife in the middle of the marriage says to her husband, Yankale, I have not been in the shopping center already for 6 hours. Dangerous. I need to buy another dress. I need another pair of shoes. What's going on over here? And he says, sorry, darling, there's no money. This is all science fiction, of course. And then she says, you know what? Give me some money from your ksuba. Give me now. I need something small from your ksuba, poigem, like from the cup of wine. So that could happen. And the husband living with his wife and feeling obligated, the Meforshim say, because he's really mechuv to her ksuba, maybe she already took some of the 200 while he's alive. In other words, now I took 10 zuz, 190 you owe me, and maybe now he died, so nobody can attest to anything, and now she wants to take from them 200, she has to take shvu. What? She's... Only because we're choishesh pagems ksubos, otherwise it would be a mitzvah chavera. Stam bal chav, don't say that. Nagid. because of Begemis. That's what we said. So now we say if it's metaltalin, and we recognize the metaltalin as those metaltalin that are owed to her as a ksuba, and they're all there intact, then she doesn't have to take shvuah. That's another reason why she's more connected to those metaltalin. We know it's written in the ksuba: 10 bottles of perfume, 50 shoes, and they're all there. So there's no pagemis. We can see it's right there. Mimela, there's no need to be nishba. That's another reason why she's connecting, magnetizing to those things right away. Weiter. Omar, a new sugya, new old. Now we come after those 5 cases of all or nothing, all five stars. Omar nechosai leplania. Yeah, a person says all my nechosim or some of my nechosim even go to Mr. Ploini. The question now, from now till the end of the Amud and beyond, is going to be, what do you call assets? Nechasim, assets. What's included in that word? Because we're going to be very surprised soon, and we'll see tomorrow, it's Hashem, that some things owned by you are not really called your nechosim, because you're limited in their usage halachically. And Mimel are not called nechosim. So not everything which you think in the business world is called nechosim really are. Now we're going through the list, and we have to find a source for each item. Is he or isn't he? Is it or isn't it included in the word nechosim, the title nechosim? Amar nechosa leplania. Avda ikri nichsi. An eved is called nechosim. A slave is called nechosim. Karka, metaltalin. Nechosim is the safe side. Nechosim is like today, not allowed to say man or woman anymore, person. Yeah? Bekitzer, avda ikri nichsi, an eved is called a neches, detnan, as we saw for the 4th time, a kaisav called nechosov leavdoi, yotzo ben chayrin. If I wrote all my nechosim, my assets are given to Mr. Eved, then he goes scot-free, ben chayrin. Why? Because he too is a neches. Now another item in the list, aro, a land. Ara ikri nichsi. A land is also called nechosim. Detnan. Nechosim sheyesh lein achrayas. Nechosim that have achrayas means nechosim that will, what you call in English real estate. Why is it called real estate? I'm not sure. I think like nichse delonadi, something can rely on. A karka, last time I checked, never moved from its place, right? People may usurp it, but a karka is not movable or burnable or it doesn't perish. Karka, right? So nechosim sheyesh lein achrayas, meaning land, niknin bekesef ubeshtar ubechazaka. Yeah, we see in the Mishnah in Kiddushin, what are the 3 forms of acquiring land? It says money, or the shtar, the document of chazaka. Chazaka means you behave in the land as if you're the owner in the presence of the seller, then it's good. But in Kitzer, we see that karka is called nechosim. That's all we're looking for. Glima. Glima is just an example. Glima is a robe, a cape, a kind of talis, a beged, an upper garment of all types. You can call it a cape, a robe, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So a glima is the golem, because it's it's a long robe that doesn't show the shape of the body like a golem, which means it's not shaped. You just see the general, like a person in a very general way. Glima, or any other metaltalin, any other movable object, ikri nichsi, it's also called nechosim. The word nechosim applies to that detnan. It's the same Mishnah in Kiddushin continues and says, nechosim that do not have achrayas, nechosim that are less relied upon because they're movable. They can be stolen, burnt, drowned. The way to acquire nechosim that have no achrayas, meaning metaltalim, is by pulling them. We discussed, okay, there's also mesira, hagbo, that's all discussion, but you actually take them physically. In any event, we see that movable objects, metaltalin, are called nechosim. That's all we're looking for. Now, zuzi, what about cash, money, actual zuzim? Also, ikri. You may argue and say there's not assets, it's actual money. No, it's also called nechosim. In Lashon the Mishnah, it's called nechosim. So in everyday language, it's also called nechosim. Ditnan, it says about v'she'en le'nechrayis. There's another form which we learned already about 1,000 times. Another form of acquiring movable things. If you don't have koyach to pick each and every one, you're buying from your friend 10,000 shoe boxes from China, and you're not exactly bored or Superman to pick each and every. No, what do you do? Good. Let's see if no say no suda. What's the other option? Starts with an aleph, finishes with a base. No.
Why you pick one up?
No, papa. No, you can't pick up.
I'll go.
What?
I'll go. To Muncie.
A trip to Muncie. Okay.
That's the next audit.
I hear. Okay. So now, how do you acquire nechosim that are a lot of movables? Agav. Nechosim sheish nechayes. I'll explain what it means. Bekesef v'shtar niknin im nechosim sheish nechayes. You have a piece of land. You want to sell your friend a piece of land. And how do you buy the piece of land? Easy. Bekesef v'shtar b'chazoko. So you can buy agav. Agav means one on top of the other. Agav. Let's say I want to buy the land, and together with the land, I'm buying a lot of metaltalin. The kinyan that works for the karka can also work for the metaltalin. Did you ever have bread and butter in your life? Yes, some people didn't. So, do you make shackle on the butter? No, Rabbi, I came 2 minutes ago to Eshet Torah, so tell me. No, you don't. Why? Because it's called Iker and Tafel. Very good, similar idea according to Rosh Hashiva. Yeah, the karka is more choshuv, and all the metaltalin, even if not physically in the same place, by the way, the metaltalin are agav, they're kilo included, they take a piggyback on the karka. So the kinyan karka works for them, okay? But in any event, all we care about, again, is now we're going to see that those metaltalin sometimes are money. A person can actually buy piles of cash, of coins, yeah, agav ekarka, and they're under the Mishnah that calls it nechosim. So we see that cash is also called nechosim. Kiho, like a story that we had a long time ago in Daf Ein Zayin Berech, the Rav Papa, there was a case about Rav Papa, Havele Tresa Alfi Zuzi Bechozoi. Rav Papa was a very rich man. He was a beer maker, brewer, I don't know, yeah, and he was owed by Bechozoi, people who lived in Chozoi. He was owed by them Tresa Alfi Zuzi, 12,000 Zuzim. And technically, Rav Papa could not go to Bechozoi to collect his debt for whichever reason. Please don't ask me why, because you know that's not intelligent to ask. Yeah, Rav Papa couldn't go to Bechozoi. He wanted to send a messenger. Wait a minute, what do you mean a messenger? The guy would told, I don't mean you, yeah. The people in Chozoi would say, who are you to take the debt? We're going to give you the cash. Who are you? Yeah, who says I will give you the money? It's not trustworthy. You're a third person. Yeah, what are you going to do? No. So what did he do? He actually was makne. He gave, by transaction, he was makne to Rav Shmuel Bar Ocha. All 12,000, he gave it to his hands. How can he give it to his hands? Why? Fine. It's far away in Chozoi. How can him, where Rav Papa lives, yeah, how could he actually give the other person the ownership over the 12,000? Because that's a good way. Yeah, if the messenger of Shmuel Bar Ocha, who is the collector, the debt collector, can show them, hey guys, I'm the owner of the 12,000, give it to me right now. And they would, and they did. How? Okay, so he wanted him to be the new owner of the 12,000 only in order to collect it. But how can he physically do it? You know how he did it? Agav a sefer the base. Rav Papa was makne to Rav Shmuel Bar Ocha, who should be the new temporary owner of the money. He gave him the 12,000 that are far away in Chozai. He was makne to them agav the sefer, the threshold of his house. He says, I'm giving you matano, a piece of my house, yeah, the front of my house, the porch, the veranda, whatever, the porch I'm giving you, yeah, and agav that, you do some kinyan here, I don't know, chazoko something, walk around there, do chazoko, build a fence, and agav that, you'll be the legal owner of all 12,000 zuzim, cash coins that are piled up in Bechozai. No, so you see it works. You see that what? You see that kinyan agav works for money too, and it's nechosim, because the Mishnah said nechosim. So you see, cash is also called nechosim. Now we finish off the story with a nice note. Ki also, Rav Shmuel Bar Ocha loyally collected the choiv from Bechozoi. They gave it to him because it says, hey guys, I'm the owner. And now, he also, when he came towards Rav Papa, Nafak Le'apei, Rav Papa, out of gratitude, he went out to greet him ad Tavach, until the middle of the way, like Tavich, till the middle. So most Rishonim say he was so grateful and happy that he finally got the money. I guess it was a sticky business. Bechazoi, far away, 12,000 in a different, go figure, go try to get the money. Rav Papa was very grateful, he went out to greet him. Other people say, Maybe he went because he didn't trust him. He wanted to quickly get the money because as long as he's the owner, then he can't. But most Rishonim reject it because whatever. So now, weiter. Shtar, next case. A shtar. A person wants to be makne his friend a check. People do it today. A shtar. I have a shtar. So-and-so owes me money. I don't have the koch to deal with this guy. Shtars and monies and this. Buy me the shtar off me. Buy the check off me. Okay, today is harder. It's pay it. Conceptually. A shtar can be sold over to another person for less money. You go deal with these people from the end of the world and you get the money. Pay me something now and let's start a chance. So now, can I sell it to you? And let's say I said, my nechosim all belong to Sprinzele, to Chaimke. Does that include shtar? Yes, the word nechosim does include shtar. De'amar Rabbi Yitzchak, as we're going to see now in the following case, the following halacha, which we also saw in the past. This daf is a very good chazor for past Gemaras. De'amar Rabbi Yitzchak, shnei shtaros hen. There are two types of shtaros, really two types of agreement connected to shtar. Omar, first case number one. Omar zchu besode zu leploini. A person told two people, I want Mr. Ploini to get that piece of land, such a nice man. I want to give him a matana. I want to give him a matana, that's his son-in-law maybe. He wants to give him a matana piece of land. The guy's not here right now, the recipient, and he's saying to two people, hey, you guys, nice people over here, you be the shlichim, and you'll get it for him by kinyan suda. Yeah, Rajbam says, besuda, pick up that kippah, that piece of thing, some garment or some object, pick it up on his behalf, and you're zoiche on his behalf. You're like his messengers without him knowing. That's very nice. And also, I want it to be nice and legal and famous. And he says afterwards, you know what? Also, not only I want him to own the land, besuda, I also want this to be recorded. I want this to be in a shtar, written with Eidim, with Beis Din, possibly with everything, that he's a legal owner. Like today we have tabu, write it in the tabu, write it as a shtar, that he is the owner. Okay, so now, choizer b'shtar, which means, let's at some point he wants to regret. He just got a phone call from that guy, nasty phone call, insulting. He wants, no, I'm not giving matanos to that guy. No way. So now we say like this, can he revoke what he did? Yes and no. Regarding the karka, you two people, you were zoiche, and your hand, when you picked it up, is like his hand. Once you picked it up for him, it's under his ownership. Too late, we say in Hebrew. That's it. Too late, it's in his ownership. But if I told you to write him a shtar, and you didn't yet write him a shtar, I can revoke that. I can go back on that. And I can say, you didn't write yet the shtar? Hey, stop right there. You don't have to write the shtar, right? You may ask a question, why would the person want to have legal transaction without a shtar? Says Tosfos, he's not necessarily a shvindler, he's not a ramai. Some very honest people want to have a very good kinyan with eidim, la'alocha, but they don't want the shtar to be, shtar is kol. Shtar, when things are written with Eidim and Beis Din and Tararam and Baba Balu, then we say people know about it. I don't want people to know that I'm giving matanos, or I don't want people to know that I have businesses. I want my business to stay quiet. Some people are like that. Makes sense. I don't want shtar. That's okay. However, and we'll finish now, the second case, but Omar, Zchu Besed Azul Ploini, Al Minas, Al Minas Shetichtav L'Es Shtar, with the second to last line, the penultimate line. Al Minas Shetichtav L'Es Shtar, Choizer Ben Shtar Ben Besodeh. If I say, you guys take the suder and buy the soda for him, get the soda for him, on condition that you write the shtar, and you didn't write the shtar yet, as condition. Of course, it can revoke everything. Why? As long as the Tanai, the condition of a shtar was not yet fulfilled, I can go back, right? It's like I'm saying, as long as it doesn't rain tomorrow, nothing happened, I can go back. Same thing over here. As long as you write the shtar, nothing happened. And now comes the third case. What is that to do with our sugya? We'll see tomorrow. Thank you very, very much. The shir is over, and we did a whole Amud, Baruch Hashem, beautiful. Shkoyach Gadol Me'od. Thank you very, very much. Have a great day.